going on, Jerome's? So Minnesota Vikings quarterback slinging Sammy Darnold, a.k.a. America's quarterback, has become a minor deity so far through 5 games with the Vikings. Vikings are 5-0. Sammy Darnold's got the stare locked in, and he's been cooking as the former number 3 overall pick in 2018 should be doing. But actually, we should rephrase that. He looked really good throughout the first 3.5 games, right? Last 6 quarters of football, notably the Jets game, little bit rough. But faced his former team over in London, didn't put up big numbers, but he did get the W, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. But it was kind of rough. But there were some mitigating factors, which we'll get into. Darnold was 14 of 31, $179, threw a pick. Not a great pick. Did take 4 sacks. A lot of them were brought on by him hanging on to the football too long. A 50.3 quarterback rating, which is not good, and a 19.2 QBR out of 100, which is also less than ideal, right? But Darnold also, this is from Purple Persuasion, stats the last 6 quarters, completing just shy of 54% of his passes, 318, 0 touchdowns, 0 goose egg, D'Angelo Russell. Now, some people have said we should change that to 0 goose egg, Deontay Vincenzo, but no. Anyways, two picks, 2 fumbles, 19 total offensive points, which also is not great. It's not great, man. But going through the reasons here. So for the Jets, I mean, Kevin O'Connell is clear that he was trying to do too much play calling. And it felt like both the second half of the Packers game and the second half of the Jets game particularly, he was just doing too much. He's trying to press too much. And O'Connell is very self-aware when it's like in the Colts game where they didn't try to score the 35-point play. Right, so one play, one drive at a time. But Darnold pressed against the Jets. I mean, let's just call it what it is. O'Connell had some beef with the Jets. They cut him, and they effectively ended his football playing career. And also the Jets obviously drafting Darnold back in the day, and it did feel like it was personal for both of them. And it's understandable. Like all players and coaches say, "Oh, it's just another game. It's just another game." Baloney. But it did seem like Darnold. So O'Connell was calling way too many long developing downfield plays, and Darnold was just trying to score a touchdown every single play. That's honestly what it seemed like in the second half, especially against the Jets. He held onto the ball too long. The 4 sacks that he had, I don't even necessarily put a lot of it on the offensive line. Frankly, I think the offensive line had a great game, but Darnold was just hanging onto the ball half a beat extra, and part and parcel of that is O'Connell's play calling, and also it just felt like he was trying to go downtown Julie Brown just to try and prove a point, which, I mean, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But honestly, he looked more like Jay Cutler out there than just taking the open receiver like he's done all season and had great success. Plus, it felt like he was obviously trying to force it to Jefferson too much as well. And the Jets are one of the best defenses in the National Football League. And I think what it was that once Sauce Gardner went out, and Jefferson was up against the backup, and he just tried to press too much. I mean, the interception was at the backup cornerback. It was towards Addison, but and Jones injury was also impacted the balance of the offense. So all of a sudden, you were getting 2nd and longs and 3rd and longs because Chandler wasn't getting anything going, right? And all of a sudden, you're behind the sticks, and then you try desperation throws, and then you go 3 and out, and then it's not good. Right, and also the rain and slick surface were factors as well. Yes, the Jets had to play in that as well, but also at the end of the games, for the last 2 games, Darnold has sacked up, and they put together a drive, and both resulted in points that helped brace the final score. So it's a spot where you have to take everything in aggregate, and you could just point at, well, second half they've been bad, blah blah blah. Well, it's a good thing that first halves count. All right. And the Jets also had 5 DPI/defensive holding penalties. So it's not like the Vikings weren't moving the football at times, but it just didn't show up on the stat box because it was penalty yardage as opposed to passing yardage, right? And also it's a good thing that first half points count, especially in that Packers game. And Darnold, a lot of people say like, oh, this is the other shoe dropping with Darnold. Oh, now he's going back into a pumpkin. No, Darnold is not seeing ghosts. Darnold is creating issues because of him holding on to the ball too long. And that is fixable because going back to the early season play calling and scheming guys open and making progressions really quick and easy reads and not doing 5 and 7 step drops when you don't have the playing surface and they're blanketing Justin Jefferson and Darnold's going to hold it and force it anyway. That's on Kevin O'Connell. Like, he has to understand his man and get back to good, and the bye week is certainly going to help them break down and rebuild things, right? And Darnold, respect. Darnold has been putting up significant numbers through the first month of the season. September NFC Offensive Player of the Month, and that doesn't go away. Like, pending on late game action and action the rest of the week, like, Darnold is still going to be leading the league in touchdown passes. He's going to be up there in quarterback rating. So I understand the haters and the losers are just looking for one moment, just like, oh, that's it. That's when Darnold's bad. See, Darnold against his former team, he can't handle pressure. Right, or playing against one of the best defenses in the National Football League on neutral site when it's raining, and no Aaron Jones. But other than that, yeah. It's ludicrous to just ignore all of the good numbers that he's put up. And it's also not like he was putting up these numbers against a bunch of slappies. The Giants have one of the best defensive lines in the game. The Niners have one of the best defenses. Same thing with the Texans, and the Packers can be legit at times. So again, it's not like they're putting up these numbers against the Panthers like Caleb Williams. No big deal. Why this is fixable. So you got the bye, reset, refocus. Hopefully Aaron Jones gets back. And also, like we harped on, this was obviously personal with Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold, and they can deny it all they want. It was, right? So they got to check the egos. It's almost like with Aaron Jones and the Packers, and it's clear that Kevin O'Connell was calling plays to try and get Aaron Jones in the end zone, maybe to the detriment of the team. And Darnold was staring down Aaron Jones in that wheel route that got picked off by Xavier McKinney. So they got to realize, hey, all these revenge games, all this blah, 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 it's got to go out the window. One game at a time, and it can't be about putting up numbers for your personal aggrandizement. It's about getting a W, right? Also, the schedule does open up. So instead of facing some of the top 5, top 10 defenses in the game, but yes, every single game is difficult. You got a couple games at home. You do have a triage of games on the road, but should be fair weather. So we'll see. Also, Hockenson back is going to be huge. He's a top 3 tight end, and he's not 3. Plus, you still have Justin Franklin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in the National Football League. And also, let's not discount that knee that got dinged up earlier in the season. Also, that rib shot that delivered by Chaz Surratt, noted Vikings 2021 third-round draft bust. So all of that, you have to account for that, where Darnold got the wind knocked out of him, maybe dinged up a rib. That knee is probably still bothering him to a degree, but now you have an extra time to heal all that up, so it should be good to go, right? And just, don't hold against Sam Darnold. He can have an off game. He doesn't have to be perfect every single game, right? Oh wait, no. Oh, I'm sorry. These are Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes, respectively, this season. So even MVPs and MVP caliber players, so Sam Darnold isn't allowed to have a bad game, but Lamar, Allen, and Mahomes can look like ass, thank you, sporadically. And that's okay. Just accept that, right? No. It's a ridiculous, stupid double standard, but Sam Darnold will certainly be fine because it is Samtober, and it can't get much worse. We've said that many, many times as a Vikings fan. Yeah. But no, slinging Sam Darnold, a.k.a. America's quarterback, will get back on the horse. And we said Sam Darnold is a perfect microcosm of America because in this country, in this society, we love to build people up. Him at USC, tear them down. Him with the Jets and the Panthers, build them up again here with the Vikings, and then tear them down again. And then we'll rise. Sam Darnold will be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Relax. I didn't want to say that, but relax, tranquillo. But your thoughts are thoughts. Single Sam Darnold will be fine. The Vikings offense will be fine. Some things to work on during the bye, but things will be fine. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comments. Actually, you know what to do. Skull production value.